what is the satisfying part of Korea?
Most foreigners in Korea would answer this.
Then what about the unsatisfying part?
Every time I'm going to mart for groceries, I'm going to spend at least 10만 won, like at least 6,000 rupees.
What do you think is the biggest difference between your country and Korea?
Definitely the
Hello, my name is Ryan. Today we invite really special guest from India. So I'm really excited right now. First, could you introduce yourself?
My name is 𝒏𝒕𝒂𝒈𝒓𝒂𝒎 and I have been staying in Korea for 4 years and I'm a student in Korea. Currently, I'm doing my PhD at 𝒂𝒏𝒔𝒕𝒂𝒈𝒓𝒂𝒎 Women's University.
Is there an income difference between India and Korea?
Income as in how much do you earn in a month?
Yeah, that's right.
I think the average salary in India is quite low as compared to Korea because even the living costs are quite high in Korea. Like especially considering the rent
house,
like wholesale and like the rent you pay or the deposit you give for it. Those are very very on high end as compared to India, even Indian cities. So it's not that expensive. So income gap is quite large because even when you get like less, you can survive with it. Something like that. You will get like really cheap food, cheap fruits and cheap, affordable groceries. But in Korea, like every time I'm going to mart for groceries, I'm going to spend at least 10만 won, like at least 6,000 rupees. So
really? I think you bought too much.
No, but it's like it's just for a week and I'm already spending that much because I cook at home. So even cooking at home is quite expensive in Korea. Like even if I'm trying to eat bananas, probably the cheapest fruit in Korea, still so expensive. I mean compared to Indian price.
Compared to India.
Because in India, in that price, you can get probably 36 bananas in that price.
36 banana?
Yeah, probably more.
Wow, I cannot believe.
Yeah, everything is so cheap. You can get one coconut for like 500 won. One big coconut. And like, so
good.
it's quite cheap.
Okay.
And that part I really miss. And that's why I think the income differences is quite large. But there is a disadvantage, like if you're earning in India, traveling to a developed country can be too costly.
Yeah, that's right.
So if I decide to travel, I want to travel to Paris, so it's not gonna be cheap, the income difference. And even within India, the inequality is quite high. So person who is at the top earning a lot as compared to even Korean puja, like rich people. But at the bottommost, you will see like you can't even compare to people who are at the bottom in Korea. So that's the huge inequality, income gap.
Did the Korean food culture fit you well?
In the beginning, not that much. I think Korean food is more of an acquired taste. So it's not something like, I give you pizza and you will eat it. It's like, delicious.
Yeah.
But Korean food is like, you eat it for the first time. You're like, interesting. And you try to eat it more. And you try to analyze what kind of taste is it and how is the food, why are there so many dishes, something like that, because it's unusual, especially Indian people. So as you start eating, it starts growing on you. It's never like you will eat it for the first time, you'll be like, so good. So it will take time to get used to Korean taste. And once you get used to it, once you're deep inside it, you can't get out.
It takes time to get used to it, but after
once you're there, you will start craving for Korean food. Like, I want to eat 닭갈비. Oh, I want to eat samgyeopsal. Oh, I want to eat kimchi jjigae, something like that.
Yeah, that's right. I think so too.
Yeah.
You said you've been in Korea for 4 years, right?
Yeah, almost 4 years.
Almost 4 years. So it's, I think, quite a long time. So I want to know, what is the satisfying part of Korea?
I think it's a very cliche answer and most foreigners in Korea would answer this. The public transportation and safety for me is probably the top most satisfying thing in Korea, because since India is so big and it's sometimes very difficult to connect every village, every city to everything. But in Korea, I have not even once in Seoul thought that I wish I had a car. Not even once. Because you don't really need a car in Seoul because you can transport anywhere. Even taxis are not extremely expensive. Also, second part is the safety. As a woman, I do feel that Korea is much, much safer as compared to India. That doesn't mean India is dangerous, but it depends on which area you go in India. So some areas are like very safe for women, and I have been out in Mumbai till 3 a.m. at night. And
really?
yeah, in Mumbai. I still have memories of sitting at Marine Lines till 3 a.m. and not doing anything with my friends and not being afraid. But I cannot imagine doing the same in Delhi. Because maybe it's not safe for women out there after 11 or 12 at night. Definitely that part, I have walked around streets at 4 a.m. at night in Korea, or I have also been out near my house at 2 a.m. just to walk. So I don't really fear for my life. I can just put my phone outside in a cafe and go to the washroom, and I know nobody's gonna touch my phone. So things like that are definitely my top priority because, and it's just not India. We also see a lot of cases happening, even in the US, the gun problems.
Yeah, that's right.
Or if you talk about other countries, even famous developed countries, they still have a lot of issues of safety and other issues. So I do feel that in that area, Korea is definitely a good country.
Then what about the unsatisfying part?
Since I have studied about East Asia and its culture, I know how Korean culture is very much influenced by Confucius. Confucius. So, and in Confucianism, he says that you have to be within the community or be within the clan, something like that. Because it's the culture, a lot of Koreans can be very exclusive about their things. So outsiders are outsiders and they don't try to include them. So no matter how good I speak in Korean, how respectful I am about the Korean culture, and even if I try to do the same, I still would somehow be the 𝒏𝒔𝒕𝒂𝒈𝒓𝒂𝒎, like way part, like the outsider part. So it's sometimes really sad, and it's not like I can do anything to change it either, because it's the culture and you have to just accept and move on that this is the culture. And especially I come from a country where the culture is so inclusive of everyone. So if you come from outside to a country, we say guests are gods. So this is a saying in India. So even if you're coming from outside, everybody would be very welcoming. Come to our house, let us feed you something nice without, asking for anything in return. Or even in festivals, we have a lot of festivals in India like Diwali. People will call everybody at home, we'll celebrate together. So this is something was a little bit of shock to me after coming to Korea, that all the festivals are within the families. So Chuseok or Seollal are for the families and within the families. So you won't really be invited anywhere. So, but this is just like a cultural difference that was a little bit upsetting. I could also talk about one more thing, maybe. Also like the beauty standards in Korea. I mean, it doesn't affect me that much, but I have seen a lot of people who it affects too. And especially I have seen a lot of people talking about how having like a paler skin is better. So something like that. Especially I come from a country where more than half the people look like me. So I thought like, oh, so anyone who is whiter than me is pretty. But
also in India or
in Korea. So this is what I thought. Maybe, okay, this is a big difference and beauty standards are quite strict. But again, honestly, I don't try to stick to it, or, I don't try to care about it. So it also depends on you if you try to completely ignore it. But again, sometimes it's not in your hands, especially in the situations where you cannot do anything about it.
What do you think is the biggest difference between your country and Korea?
Definitely the inclusiveness and exclusiveness. Most Indians are individualistics and most Koreans are collectivist nature. So what I mean by this is, so for example, in Korea, everybody would like to be in a community. So that's why there is a sense of 우리 학교, 우리 나라. Everything is 우리 집, something like that. So this is something that they want to have a sense of belongingness to a community, to like a group of set of people. But this is something that is very different in India because we are individualistic. We say my country, my home, my mom. Like, till now I say 내 집에 because sometimes I feel weird to say 우리 집에 because it's just my home. It's not our home or anything. So something like that is very different, and we don't really want to be a part of community because we have a sense of inclusiveness and we include anyone. We are sitting somewhere and hear something common that they're talking talking about it, we'd be like, oh, you want to come and join? So this is something that won't be very common in Korea, because
that's
even
right.
if I'm sitting here and I see someone talking about Spy Family, like my current new favorite anime,
Yeah.
and then in Korea, it's like, oh, she likes Spy Family. I won't go and talk to her in Korea, right? But I think something like that in India is so common. You want to come join? And like, you want to come visit my house?
Yeah.
Do you want to meet my parents? This is something very commonly that happens in India, but I think that part is definitely very uncommon. This exclusiveness is definitely a little bit difficult to cope for Indians.
No, I see. I think I like more of Indian culture, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I like to be,
You can
like that.
see that the warmthness in people's heart. I mean, of course, not everyone, but this is a part of our culture. So most people are going to be very welcoming, very warm-hearted to you.
What part of Korea do you think should be changed?
The part that I talked about earlier, like the exclusiveness, I hope like it changes a little bit, because the sense of uri in our house, but we are 외국인, like 외 means outside, right? So our name in foreigner itself means outside. So I think the sense of us being outside should be changed. They always tell me, oh, you speak amazing Korean, you know Korean culture so well, blah blah blah. But I feel rather than saying this, if they make me feel more included, in their culture, or you want to come visit our house, you want to try this. I've had a few friends who have invited me to their houses. 2 friends.
Me too.
Oh, really?
This is my home.
I mean, sorry, 3 friends.
Yeah.
So it's not like nobody does that. Of course, like I've had, fun with few of my friends' parents, went to their house, ate with them, had beer with my friends. It's a fun experience. And one really good thing that happens in Korea is nobody really says bad about not being able to speak perfect Korean. Even if someone is just saying like, broken Korean, or just like, 저는 이거, even if they don't know how to say something, all Koreans are quite accommodative about that fact. Like even if they don't say, they try to say. But sometimes, even if you speak in entirely English, there are chances that nobody understands. So you have to keep your dictionary open. So that part, I hope it changes, that more people start also accepting English more, and also foreigners need to learning Korean, and Koreans also need to start learning English more and having to try to communicate in English, so that it's also like comfortable environment for us.
Okay.
So, and also not expecting Korean culture from us sometimes, like for example, the hierarchy system, some really rigid culture practices should probably change, or even the age, because a lot of times it happens it's like, how old are you? And I say my age, and they're like, no, in Korean age. I'm like, please don't ask, I don't know. I don't know. Because I don't want to get older than my actual age.
That's right.
So something like that maybe should change.
Do you want to find a job in Korea after your graduation?
I think so. I want to work in a company that is more inclusive to foreigners, and not expecting like too much rigidity from me. I studied here, and one of my aim is also to work here to see how I can adapt to Korea as a working person. Let's see how that experience goes.
What kind of job do you want?
Depends. But I want to work in a company where I will be able to help like Korean companies who are trying to venture in India, or Indian companies who are trying to venture in Korea. Something like that. I'm able to build the bridge between the 2 countries, because I speak in 2 Indian languages and I speak in Korean. So I will try to help as much as possible to bond the 2 countries and to help each other.
Oh, good. Then I want to ask you one more thing. Do you have any dream that you want to achieve while you stay in Korea?
As I said, I want to build the bridge between the 2 countries. I want to be the bridge between the 2 countries, and would be able to help, because one of my reasons to come to Korea was that as much as I'm able to explore Korea myself, I'm also able to give something in return.
Okay.
So this would be an amazing dream to achieve if I'm actually able to help.
And do you have anything to say last?
And last,
I think you should talk in Korean, because many people don't know that how good you are at Korean.
Oh yeah. 한국에 살려면 뭐 한국어 기본이라도 배우는 게 좋을 것 같고, 그리고 한국에 사니까 한국인 친구들도 많이 사귀어보고 문화 이해하려고 노력하는 게 좋을 것 같아요. 네, 그게 제 조언이에요.
Wow. I'm Korean, and for Koreans to listen how you say, it sounds like Korean. Will Koreans speak Korean? Wow, good. So good.
I have had a few funny experiences as well. Like if I
Yeah.
call like a phone company or any
Yeah.
company where I need some help, and sometimes I tell them, and then they start answering me. 그럼 여기서 이렇게 하셔도 되고요. 그래서 좀 천천히 말하겠어요. 저는 외국인이에요. 말하면 그러세요? Sorry. And then they start speaking slowly
Okay.
because
Wow, how come you're so good at Korean?
열심히 배웠어요.
Study really hard. Yeah, okay. Wow.
Practice every day. Make a lot of
Yeah.
Korean friends
Yeah.
to perfect your Korean.
Okay.
And 연애하면 배울 수 있을 것 같아요.
Wow. You have a Korean boyfriend right now?
Yes.
Yeah. I think that is the easiest way to learn foreign language, I
Yeah.
think. Yeah, good for you.
そうですね.
そうですね. Hi.
Hey.
Anyway, thanks for watching our video, and if you think this video is helpful, please subscribe, like, and comment here.
비빔코리아.
비빔코리아.